Welcome, fans and collectors. This is Marvel and DC 379 with another review, and today we'll be looking at Star Wars The Black Series K-2SO. And just like director Krennic, this was a prize I won from the forces with Jesse. Thank you so much, Jesse, for sending this figure to me. And I've been so excited to review this guy for a while, I just didn't have the time. So enough of that, let's just begin. So here's the package, in mainly black, hence the name for the series, Star Wars The Black Series. And there's the said title, Star Wars The Black Series. And I really like the vibrant red background, although red is one of my least favorite colors, to be honest. There's that artwork of K-2SO. His name, ages 4 and up in different languages, Hasbro, K-2SO on the side. This is number 24 in the series. And there's a bio, K-2SO, a reprogrammed Imperial security droid now loyal to the Alliance. K-2SO is an alarming sight standing with a secret rebel base. The pragmatic droid is effective insertion agent as he can blend in perfectly at Imperial installations and outposts. So that's about it for packaging. Now let's get into the figure. And here is K-2SO, who's basically the droid sidekick of the Rogue One team, and he is a reprogrammed Imperial security droid, which is very helpful when it comes to recon missions. And I've always liked this character because how salty and smart-mouthed and sarcastic he is. And, well, he looks like any other Imperial security droid, and if you want to army build this, technically you can, because there was more than one Imperial security droid in the film, and they all look alike, and wow, I sound like a droidist for saying that. But, aside from that, let's just begin. For a character that's mainly one color, for the most part, you would think it would be plain and boring, but there's a lot of detail. Like, there's a lot of dry brushing. Like, for example, there's one on his leg, you can clearly see that, and there's dry brushing here at the top of his leg, right there and there. Both his knees and both of his feet have dry brushing effect. They have it on his elbows, on his left shoulder right there, and there is white details at the top of his chest, and there's dry brushing there at his chest and the front of the chest right there, and there's one blue dot and one silver dot, which looks very nice. There's orange rims around the hips, but that's accurate, I looked that up, and the same goes for around his shoulders too. And there's incredible mechanical detail, like his abdomen right there, and at the back of the abdomen, at his back, this very distinct design that's on a lot of backplates of Stormtrooper armor with a little circle and two lines, and there's a pair of antennae. So really detailed figure. You would think it'd be plain, but it's not. And I've always liked this droid design. It's very unique, like a bulky chest, slim proportions, a uniquely designed head, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. This design is actually faithful to the movie anyway, and I've always liked Star Wars for the robot and droid designs. Now let's take a look at the head sculpt, and I'm gonna be honest with you right away, right off the bat. My copy had 2 red dots, like pupils, on the eyes, and I'll show you a picture right now. So, unfortunately, some copies actually have red eyes for their K-2SOs, and mine unfortunately is the case. However, I was able to repaint them, and I'm not the best painter or customizer ever, but I did my best. I mean, on the left eye, it's a little worse because there's a bit of sloppy paintwork, you could tell, but considering this has a worn battle damage look, that could be passable. The right eye looks so much better. And there is some dry brushing effect on his head too, from this side, and there's a little red dot right there, and a little silver painted detail right there. So, just hope that you don't have a K-2SO with red eyes, but if you're really good at painting and customizing, this is a great way to display and showcase your skills, because I am not the best painter in the world, but the red eyes did kind of bug me. Now, moving on to articulation. There is a ball jointed head, however, the neck is very thin, and because of that, I don't want to risk breaking it, and makes me wonder why Hasbro doesn't make a lot of 6-inch droid designs for their figures like battle droids, but I think this is one of the main reasons why. There are hinged shoulders, so it can go that far. There's a hinge elbow, a hinge wrist that can go in and out, ball jointed waist, ball jointed legs so it can go in and out, and has that really nice split. Just look how far that can go. Hinged knees, hinged ankles so it can go forward and back, and this is a really nice surprise. You can clearly see there's a hinge at the ankle, so it can do the ankle pivot like side to side like that. So that's a really nice surprise. I didn't expect that, but I'm glad it's there. So the articulation, I think you can pull off good poses if you're creative enough. So this has better articulation, better than I thought, and I'm surprised honestly, but I'm glad. So enough of that, let's get into comparisons. So here's K-2SO next to the main heroine of Rogue One, K-2SO, and I did point out the character and possibly even the actress Felicity Jones are pretty short. However, K-2SO, he is possibly the tallest Star Wars The Black Series figure I own in my collection currently, because even without Felicity Jones, I actually did scale him with my other Black Series figures, and he is incredibly tall. So, to make my point, I'll compare him with another character from Rogue One. And here's K-2SO next to the main villain of Rogue One, Director Krennic. And Krennic is a decently sized figure, but even K-2SO still towers over him. So you could see what I mean by the fact that I said that K-2SO is the tallest Black Series figure I have right now in terms of 6-inch scale. So my final thoughts? Well, to be honest, there are definitely pros with this figure, but there are still cons with it too, like any other figure. Like for example, I did mention that the eyes were originally red, and unfortunately some other K-2SO copies do have red eyes. But luckily not all K-2SO figures have red eyes. Some actually have the plain white eyes. So if you do look for a K-2SO, be very careful. And if you do end up with a K-2SO with red pupils, I would recommend painting over them. I'm not the best painter, but I had to do what I had to do. And he doesn't come with any accessories. I mean, you could argue that he doesn't need any, but I will mention a minor spoiler. So if you don't care or you've seen the movie, then just leave right now. Towards the end of Rogue One at the battle scene, K-2SO did carry a stormtrooper blaster when he was fighting stormtroopers. But does that bother me? No, not completely. I could just borrow another blaster from a stormtrooper figure and give it to him. And because of the thin proportions, especially his arms, legs, and even his neck, I do recommend you be very, very, very careful when you mess with them, especially if you're a kid, if you play with your toys. I do have a concern that some parts will break. I mean, I know Jesse, one of his K-2SO figures, when it dropped, its neck broke, so you had to buy another one. So I want to warn you that, and please be careful when you mess with K-2SO because of its proportions, and that kind of makes me wonder why Hasbro never made Battle Droid figures in 6-inch scale yet, and I'm starting to think this is one of the main reasons, because depending on the droid design, sometimes their proportions are, well, fragile, so it's very risky. But other than all of those negatives, I still do recommend them. But take warning and heed when I mention all of those flaws. So, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next. So until then, may the Force be with you. Subscribe to Marvel and DC 379's channel. Charles told me I had to say this.